Olá, pessoal! Bem-vindos a mais um Guide Your Future, o nosso programa semanal que fala sobre estudar fora, sobre fazer a graduação fora, toda semana com uma universidade diferente. E a nossa convidada de hoje é a University of Waterloo, então uma das grandes universidades do Canadá, uma universidade muito boa, inclusive uma universidade muito assim conceituada, principalmente para as áreas das exatas. Tem muitas conexões com a indústria, enfim, uma universidade muito fantástica, uma das melhores do Canadá, com certeza. A nossa representante de hoje é a Valerie, vamos dar boas-vindas a ela, e a nossa live será em inglês hoje. Welcome, Valerie!
Thanks so much for having me.
Good, very nice. Valerie, can we start? Okay, all right.
Sounds good. Here we go. Thanks. Wonderful. So thank you for the introduction. My name is Valerie, and I'm one of the international recruitment officers at the University of Waterloo. University. Feel free to ask your questions. And to get started, I do want to share that we have really great resources available to you on our web pages. And so we have many of our print pieces that can now be downloaded and viewable online. So that does include our view books, lots of faculty brochures like the ones you can see on the screen in front of you. And you can also order these from our web pages. And for any students who maybe are in younger grades, we do update these every year. So the most up-to-date information can be viewed on our web pages, like I said, or sent right to your door. So we are an institution that is not too old, but we were founded just over 60 years ago. We have over 35,000 undergraduate students and just over 6,000 graduate students. 1 in 5 of our students are international students. So it's about 20% of our undergraduate population are truly international students. And they represent just over 90 different countries around the world. We're home to 6 faculties, 11 faculty-based schools, alumni across the globe. And I'll get into a bit more information about our programs in just a few moments. We're also known as Canada's Innovation University, one of the top innovation centers in the country. And we're also ranked in the top 150 overall in the world. And from the very beginning, Waterloo was really designed to be different. We want to teach students to think in really new and innovative ways, and to connect their research or professors' research and their academics with a lot of the real-world challenges that go on today. You see innovation in our commitment to developing really great ideas and our commitment to entrepreneurship. Way of embedding business courses into each one of our faculties. And you also see innovation in the largest university cooperative education program of its kind in the world. And we have over 7,000 employers hiring Waterloo students every year to do real work in real organizations. And I will be touching on co-op in a bit more detail in closer to the end of the presentation. So a question you might have, where are we located? So we are in the lovely country of Canada, so neighbors to the far north of where you are. And and a great study destination with world-class, education with degrees that are recognized around the world. We have a really high standard of living, lots of diversity, great work opportunities as an undergraduate student as well as after graduation. It's very affordable when you are comparing other similar top universities around the world. And it's really, really great place to study. It's a safe place to be a student. The university is located in the city of Waterloo, and with about 130,000 residents. It is part of the Waterloo region, which does have two neighboring cities, Kitchener and Cambridge, and that's about 500,000 residents. So, I mean, that might sound small to some of the cities that are found in Brazil, but we are, a growing nation and a growing community. We have 195 different ethnic backgrounds. And we're about 100 kilometers from the Toronto area. So you might be more familiar with our, the country's biggest city, Toronto. So about an hour and a half drive from downtown Toronto. The city of Waterloo is also a really student-friendly community. There are two other colleges within the city itself. So there's Wilfrid Laurier University, as well as Conestoga College. So when we are, back in full-time studies on our campuses, there could be around 70,000 students within the region of Waterloo. So lots of really great things to do as a student. Great place to, like I said, do your studies and still get involved with the community.
Valerie, how long does it take for a student to go from Waterloo to Toronto?
Depending on traffic, because there is a lot of that, it could be an hour to 2 hour drive, or on the bus or the train system. So we're very connected to the city of Toronto, which is nice, but we don't recommend that you commute. So we don't recommend that you live in Toronto and commute to campus. That is a bit of a long drive, but we are very connected with bus, train, and car.
Okay, good. Very nice.
Awesome. And within the city itself, there's lots of industries as well. So from, public service to IT, so information and technology. We also have one of Google's larger hardware headquarters, just a 10-minute drive down the street from campus. So international companies and organizations really do recognize the strength of the city of Waterloo, of our students. Waterloo's main campus is about 1,000 acres, and we are a self-contained campus. So it's basically like a small city within a city. It might sound large at 1,000 acres, but all of our buildings are about a 5 to 15-minute walk from one another. And there's really no need to have a car on campus because all of the transportation is included when you pay your tuition and your fees. And walking is definitely encouraged and really easy and accessible. We do have satellite campuses, so for our students in the School of Architecture, as well as studio or digital arts campus in Stratford, Ontario. And for our lucky architecture students, we also do have an office in Rome, Italy, so that you can do 1 or 2 terms of study within the architecture program. And as you can see, we have lots of green space, so lots of great places to get out and explore, and sports fields and lots of great places to be outside. So as I mentioned, Waterloo is a comprehensive institution. And so that means we do offer a really diverse range of majors. And so we have just over 100 programs at the undergraduate level to choose from. And so they're all listed for you on the screen. It's a bit overwhelming to sort of have a look at it, but we do group all of these majors based on similarities and common factors into what we call faculties. And so you can see Waterloo's 6 faculties in the colored boxes in front of you. So going from left to right, we have the Faculty of Health, we have the Faculty of Science, the Arts, Environment, Engineering, and then Mathematics. And I won't go into too much detail for each of these programs because then but I will touch on each of these faculties just briefly, just to give you a quick overview and to see if maybe you could see yourself within one of these faculties. So starting with the Faculty of Applied Health Sciences, now named the Faculty of Health. They are all about improving the health and quality of human life. And so they're really often thought of as the person faculty. Campus, it does have some of the most engaged and active students of any other program we have on campus. You'll find these students volunteering and really doing lots of different extracurricular activities that are related to their major. Some of the careers that these students will go into will really vary by the discipline that you go into, but it could include going into the health professions, of course, applied and theoretical research, maybe government and policy, health promotion, sports business, and as well as tourism. Column. And so the Faculty of Arts is one of our larger faculties on campus with well over 6,000 students. We have 29 different majors and entry programs to choose from. And again, you can see the long list on the screen in front of you. We have a really incredible breadth of flexible programs within the social sciences, the humanities, visual arts, and different languages. We also have a really fantastic global business and digital arts major. We want to challenge students within the arts to become really creative. Really, these are the lifelong learners. And so we want to really foster that in our students. Some of the careers that our students go into, they might be educators, public administrators, social service providers, counselors, artists, and lots of different business professionals as well. Waterloo is also home to Canada's largest engineering school. So engineering is 100% cooperative education, and there's no general first year. So there's no just a general entry point. You do have to enter as that we offer. And so there's 14 professional engineering programs and then the world-renowned architecture major. So that makes up the 15 different disciplines within the Faculty of Engineering. And we do have a dedicated Faculty of Environment as well. And so environment students are really committed to building a sustainable future. And so we offer 8 unique undergraduate programs and lots of different disciplines across these majors, but they all have a focus on the environment and a focus on really making positive change in the world. So all of our grads find careers, as either scientists, environmental advisors and planners, maybe consultants, sustainability advisors and analysts, urban planners, GIS technicians, workers, and the list really goes on and on. And then moving along to the next faculty, Waterloo has the largest concentration of mathematical and computer science talent in the world. And it is a faculty all on its own. So it's not combined with any other faculty or embedded into the arts and sciences. So Waterloo's Faculty of Math is really, a unique place to do your studies. There's over 8,000 people who love math just as much as you within this faculty. There's 45 areas of specialization to choose from within mathematics, and that includes math and business, as well as our world-renowned School of Computer Science. And some of the jobs that our students go into might be, data scientists, statistician, mathematicians, information security analysts, software engineers, and the list is quite extensive within this field.
Valerie, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Students always ask me, what is the difference between a bachelor a bachelor of science and a bachelor of arts? Let's say I see here on the arts faculty, we have a psychology major and we have a psychology major as well on science, on the science faculty. What is the difference between them?
Great question. So, and I'm glad you spotted that as will receive the degree from the faculty that you belong to. So your home faculty. So you will apply directly to these programs. So one of these programs, maybe, science, psychology, or art psychology. And then you will take courses within your major. So the major would be psychology. So you have to have a certain number of courses within psychology. Within the science and within the arts, the psychology courses are actually the same. So the psych part of it is identical. It's the additional courses. So the other half of your degree in those courses or the arts. So ultimately, you will get a bachelor's of arts in psychology or a bachelor's of science in psychology. I hope that helps sort of answer that.
I see. But is there for my student who is wondering, what should I take? Should I take a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, or should I take a science? What are some main points that the student needs to think of?
One sort of technical part is the admission requirements. So the one really big difference is the sciences does science, where the arts, the only required course is the is English. So one really big, that might be one decision maker, is the requirements of what courses you're taking in high school might help determine which psychology would be best for you. The other thing is sort of the career prospects for both majors might be slightly different, but there are some students that will go the same path, whether you're in the sciences or the arts. Sometimes students who want to go into more of a medical profession will take the more science psychology, but that doesn't mean students in the arts can't do that as well. They might just have a little bit of a different, they might have a different focus, but there's lots of areas of specialization within psychology that they can take as well. So the other major thing is if students are really unhappy in one or the other, they can always speak with their advisor to maybe make some changes once they are a student as well.
Oh, I see. Just to review here, your audio cut right when you were speaking about the requirements for the science bachelor of science. Can you repeat, please?
So for science, the main requirements are mathematics as well as 2 sciences, where the art psychology would not require the math or the sciences.
I see. I understand.
Perfect. So, and I'll wrap up, I'll wrap up this slide, which is perfect, with the sciences. So we do have the a science faculty as well, with 18 different majors to choose from, sort of within the physical, life, and environmental sciences. There's also really unique science and business courses. There's science and aviation. So if you do want to become a commercial, your science degree as well as your commercial pilot's license. And then we do have 2 professional schools, so the School of Optometry as well as the School of Pharmacy, but those are sort of graduate level schools, so you would have to do undergraduate work first before you go on to these professional schools. And then finally, you might be interested in studying business, and you're thinking, Val, you haven't said anything about business, and it is in there. We just don't have a formal business school, so a school of business, but you will find business courses and programs embedded into each one of these 6 faculties. So there they are. We have actually 17 different business programs to choose from. That does include our School of Accounting and Finance, various and business majors. So that would be like science and business, environment and business, arts and business. And that allows you to do basically half of your degree in those business courses. And then the other half of your degree within the sciences, arts, or environment. Have some double degree math and computer science majors as well, and then lots of entrepreneurship options and specializations to incorporate into your learning.
Awesome.
All right. If there's any other questions?
No, I guess we can move on.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about admissions now. So that's why I like to pause sometimes. But basically, just like you'd evaluate, the quality of any major purchase or investment in your life, thinking about the quality of your university experience is also really. And so what does high quality look like? And, why should that really matter to you? So you may or may not have heard that some of the programs at the University of Waterloo wind up with pretty competitive admissions averages to receive an offer. However, this isn't necessarily a function of how difficult those programs are once you are a student. It's more about the supply and demand. So there's a relatively fixed number of seats in each of the programs, and the more applications we receive for those more competitive majors, the higher those grades. What this does is that it does ensure that every course on campus can really start at a level that is higher than what would be possible if we admit students with, say, lower scores. The course content that you're receiving can start at a more advanced level, and that typically leads to higher quality outcomes overall. And so just a little bit about admissions in general and how to, submit those applications and think about what would be required. And so we do have our application on an online central application center, so the OUAC for short. We have, very specific course requirements, as well as subject requirements, as well as overall averages needed for each one of our majors. The admissions decision is really based on academic scores from your high school, potentially an English language test, as well as an admissions information form. So I would suggest that you write down this webpage. I can also include it at the end of the presentation in the chat box or somewhere, because it's a really great tool. So the top webpage you can see on the screen. Requirements. So you can say, you're in the IB system and you're really interested in, studying life sciences. We will tell you what those required courses would be for that major. And so I do have one sort of sample of what that would look like. And hopefully you can see it okay there.
Yes, you can see it.
This is awesome. Perfect. So I just used honors, arts, and business as an example, and using the International Baccalaureate system. And so there's some general requirements. So 6 total IB courses. At least 3 must be at the all majors at Waterloo. But for honors, arts, and business, one of the HL or SL courses must be English. And we are looking for a total of 27. So that's just one example, but all 100 majors can also be viewed using that tool on that webpage I provided previously. And so when you do apply to the institution, you'll also be asked to fill out the admissions information form, so the AIF for short. And it's very similar to a more personal statement. It is required for some of our more competitive programs and highly recommended others to fill it out anyway, because we might use it for faculty scholarships. We might use that information to award additional scholarships. And then this is really your chance to brag and tell us more about, who you are. We want to see, different extracurricular activities, maybe volunteering, possibly work, sports, different clubs, contests that you've participated in. So strong academics, as well as a well-rounded student.
So the University of Waterloo does value, well-roundedness, and does and it does reward extracurricular activities.
Yes, yeah, Definitely. It's a really great piece, especially like for those really competitive majors. It's a really good piece for our admissions team to use to, evaluate students a little bit differently, because we know you have strong academics, but how do you balance, other commitments in your life as well? And so that is a really big part. And it's a big part of what a Waterloo student is and who they are. And so we want to make sure that it is a good fit.
Okay, good. Valerie, you were mentioning courses that were very competitive. Which are the most competitive courses? Which are the most competitive majors?
So typically the majors, and then various majors within engineering. So sometimes every year changes slightly, but software engineering, that's a very competitive major, mechatronic engineering, and some of our math majors as well. That's sort of not usually a huge surprise to students when I tell them these things. Accounting at Waterloo can also be fairly competitive as well. It's one of the only accounting and finance schools sort of in the country that offers some designations towards becoming a chartered professional accountant. So that can become quite competitive. But I would say those are the top ones, because there's, again, it's based on lots and lots of applications.
I see. So just rewinding, because I guess our internet connection was a bit off. So you say engineering, accounting, software engineering, lots, and I think the first ones we didn't hear.
And the first one was computer science.
Computer science.
Computer science, and a couple of the majors within mathematics as well.
I see. So the technological part of Waterloo, I guess, we're gonna talk later about the co-ops, right? Waterloo is just so famous about is so famous for their co-op program. Our audience, I'm guessing here, and I'm pretty sure they do not know it is a co-op, and we're gonna have to explain a little bit this concept, right?
Yes, and I do have a couple of slides that help sort of illustrate what co-op is all about, because it is a bit of it's hard to sort of wrap your head around that a little bit. And I do have a couple of slides to sort of demonstrate and give more information on that.
Great. Let's get to it then.
Perfect. And then really quickly here, just a really quick slide on, the tuition and scholarships, and all students are automatically considered for entrance scholarships at the university. And there are also faculty-specific awards that you will also be considered for. Bursaries are available after your first year, and that would require an application. And again, we'll use the AIF as well as your academic scores to make the determination. Just please keep in mind the numbers you see on the screen are for the previous year. So this will be very out of date for any students applying in the future. But that top URL, so uwaterloo.ca/future financing, will be the most up-to-date information. And so the different tuition, but you can see sort of a general range of what we're looking for.
Sure.
Perfect. All right, so now just a little sort of shift the presentation slightly for just a minute or so, and just talking about, some of the communities that students can be a part of once you're at the University of Waterloo. And so with every offer of admission, we do have a guarantee of a room in our on-campus housing. You are moving to a new place, into a new university. Where do you want to live? Is it a suite style or dorm style? Do you want to be in a single room or double room? Be a part of a bigger community or smaller community? There's lots of different things to consider when moving to a new school. And so, like I said, we do guarantee residence in your first year so that you can have a nice smooth transition, and everything is very close to where you're living. All of your academic buildings are within, a 5 to 15 minute walk to where you're living. Lots of places to eat on campus as well, of course. We have, I think, over 35 places to eat on our campus. Of course, it looks very different right now because we are learning in a virtual world. But when we're back, we can hopefully host you on campus shortly, and you can explore some of these different places. In all of our residence meal halls, we do have lots of different menus as well. So, there's halal, gluten-free, vegetarian, and lots of other options to just suit the needs of our students. There's also lots of clubs and societies to become a part of. And it's a really big part of, creating your community and finding things that you love. And it's really a great place to connect, or a good chance to connect with other students that are just as passionate about the same things as you are. And so we have over 250 different clubs now and societies to join. And then lots of ways to stay fit and active. We have, 600 varsity athletes that are doing their, the top level of athletic competition. We have free facilities for all of our students as well. So the gym, workout facilities, a swimming pool, lots of great places, like I said, to stay fit and active. And you can also be a part of one of our intramural sports leagues as well. So lots of different sports represented, like basketball, dodgeball, football, and then over, I think, close to 3,000 fitness classes available to our students as well. So many students and choose to do so, or potentially even in a virtual setting. And this is, again, a great place to meet new students and to get involved, build your resume, but also help pay for school as well. And so as an international student, you can work part-time on or off campus while you are doing your studies. And there are literally thousands of different jobs available. So to our students, from food services, again, that's restricted at the moment, but athletics, the library, alumni relations, research assistant, teaching assistant, and these are a variety of virtual world as well as in person. All right, so just kind of shifting presentation again slightly, and we're actually almost at the co-op portion. And so, but first I do want to talk, importance are academics important, like I talked about, but they're not the whole story. So I do want to talk about some of the ways that Waterloo really prepares you for the future. And so we are one of the top universities in the world for, like I said, innovation and entrepreneurship, but we're also top in the world for founders of unicorns. Yeah. And so unicorn companies are startups, not the mythical creature. They're startup companies that are now valued at over $1 billion. And so we're really proud of this. We're proud of our students for creating really amazing companies like this. And, how do we become the big reasons is that Waterloo has a 100% IP policy, so intellectual property policy. So the creator owns everything that they create while on campus. Mm-hmm. Some of the best researchers will choose to come to Waterloo because what they discover and what they invent is something that remains their own, and that's really important to entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. There really is a whole ecosystem of research, academics. There's support, there's grants, resources for, and of course, lots of mentoring for students who want to develop their ideas and their products, and want to become or are entrepreneurs. So it's a really great ecosystem to develop that. And the Waterloo region, so within the city itself, it's actually ranked in the world's top 25 startup ecosystems. So with, comparable regional density of startups comparable to Silicon Valley in California. So really proud of that. So, it really means that we're not just teaching entrepreneurship, it's actually happening here within the region and in the city. And now I will move to co-op. So another really great way to prepare you for the future. And so what is co-op? Basically, co-op stands for cooperative education, and it is fairly similar to a more traditional paid internship. Co-op is really a system of study that integrates semesters of paid career-related work experience with academic semesters. And so this really creates, a cycle of learning where what you learn in the classroom can, and then what you're learning with employers and in industry can be brought back to the classroom. And so as I mentioned earlier, Waterloo operates the largest post-secondary co-op program of its kind. And so we have over 20,000 co-op students enrolled in 3 semesters. So we do have 3 active terms throughout the year. There's over 7,200 employers that hire Waterloo co-op students. And these jobs can be found in over 60 countries around the world. And so now I do want to go over a quick overview of what when we refer to study and work terms. And so for co-op sequences, it's a term we use. The sequences is basically your study schedule. You will do 1, 2, or 3 school terms before you go off and do your first work term. And so during your study term, so this slide sort of represents your 1 study term that is 4 months in length, you will go through the full hiring process. So this is where you'll build your resume, apply to different jobs, and then you will go to interviews. And this is all done through Waterloo.
Okay.
And this is even happening now in a virtual sense. We still have well over 90% of our co-op students employed. Virtual settings as well. And then once you start your co-op, you will alternate between 4-month school terms and 4-month work terms until you graduate. So ultimately, you'll complete 8 school terms like any other traditional undergraduate degree, but then you will get to do 4 to 6 different work terms. And so that's what this sort of represents, different terms, your schedule once you are at Waterloo. So this sort of summarizes what I was mentioning. But co-op is really your chance to discover what you love and sometimes discover, what you don't love. And that can be just as important because you do get to try out 4 to 6 different terms, work terms, and that could be different job titles. You'll build your resume and you'll get that valuable work experience in your field of study or your field of interest. You'll, of course, improve those interview skills and learn how to, properly promote yourself to other employers as well. So really valuable, more softer skills as well that you'll need after graduation. And then, of course, it does help fund your studies. It is a full-time, payment and salary, and it is the employer does make that decision. So sometimes there's negotiations involved, but every and the number you see here is based on average earnings over the full 4 to 6 work terms. So it's not just 1 work term, and it depends on the program. And so Waterloo is not 100% co-op. It's about 70%. 70% of our students and programs are offer co-op, but we do also have a regular system of study, and that does follow the more traditional school year. So that means that students will be in school between September and April every year, and you will have your summer months off. So it's the quickest path to graduation, and like I said, follows a more traditional. Are available to you as they're available to our co-op students as well. You can earn different certificates. There's different skills workshops. There's experiential education courses that you can enroll in as well, so that you won't feel left out and you'll still be successful whether you're in co-op or you're not in co-op. So really great opportunities for all of you. Good. Any questions about co-op specifically?
Let me check here because I just opened. No, we don't have any questions. I have a question, Valerie. So you said that about 70% of the university is co-op, but it's not 100%. So there are. Is that divided into majors? So some specific majors will have co-ops, other won't. Is that it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So for one example, our faculty of engineering is 100% co-op. So all of our students in all of the engineering majors will be doing co-op work terms to graduate. Within our faculty of science, it's a bit more of a mix. So we find traditionally with our science students, they're typically going on to graduate school or professional school after their undergrad. So they want to excel does shorten their degree slightly. So we do find that giving them that option is really valuable. Some of our arts majors, co-op is optional. Accounting, a lot of our business, co-op is mandatory. So there's some options. Students can start at Waterloo in co-op and choose to drop co-op if it's not a right fit for them. So we do find that sometimes, students want to go home for their summer months or that summer spring break. And so maybe they have a different job set up, and that's okay too. So, maybe co-op isn't right for them. So they'll just switch into the regular system of study.
Oh, I see. So they will always have, will they have summer breaks during their co-op options, or will they have to work every summer?
They will be working. So students might get 1, 2, 3 weeks off in between terms. But yeah, so those, traditional two month summer break or 4 month summer break will be no longer, because we are using that time for them to do a work term.
I see. I understand. Okay.
Yeah. So something to consider too for students.
Yes, definitely. It's a detail I hadn't thought of yet. I'll definitely bring that up to our students. Definitely.
And I'm glad you asked too, because in some cases there's flexibility. A lot of employers know that maybe students want to have a bit of a break and maybe go home for a visit. And so speaking with their employer, they might be able to, plan a vacation before they start their next co-op job. A lot of our students also say that their co-op work term is sometimes their break. So summer break, they do feel like it is a break from their studies, their academic studies, and they do appreciate going into that 4 month co-op term.
Yeah, so they actually get a refresh on their heads. They do have they don't. How many hours, Valerie? How many hours do they work usually?
It is full-time. So whatever the employer says. Typically within Canada, full-time is either 8 to 4 p.m. or 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. But again, that really is dependent on the employer and what their hours are. And it could differ around the world as well.
Okay, good. So you do have options abroad. The students can work in other countries.
Yeah, we do have lots of different connections. Since we've had this co-op program since we started, really. So we were one of the first schools. I think we were the first school to start this style of work experience, this co-op model within the country. And so we've really developed a lot of partnerships since that point. And so now, the business relationship officers, they've really worked on fostering these relationships with companies. And so, all over the world, the majority are in Canada, but sometimes our international students will go back to their home country and do a job, and maybe that's their chance to, move back home for a term, get that experience. But yeah, we definitely do have international placements as well.
Good. Are we gonna see some of the companies that host the co-ops?
I don't have in my slides, but what I can do is after this presentation, I just have one more slide. I'm just going to share my contact details. But after this slide, I can actually go to a web page to show some examples. So it's usually best to sort of show the web pages if that's okay, and I can actually show some specific examples.
That would be great.
Perfect. Yeah, I can do that. Awesome. So just wrapping up presentation, and I hope that you were able to picture yourself at Waterloo, and that in a few years from now I can talk about you graduating and having all of these experiences as a Waterloo student. And then just a reminder of our online resources. Please connect with us on any of our social media platforms as well, and you can see really what it's like to be a student on campus and at the university. We also have a webpage for prospective students. So, that's where you can download those brochures that I mentioned, the admissions tool, so the admission requirement tool. And then our email address for our team is askus@uwaterloo.ca. So if you do have any other follow-up questions, we would love for you to reach out and ask those questions. Perfect. And so that is that's all for me. So thank you again, and we can open it up for questions, and I can pull up the some examples of co-op as well, of the co-op jobs.
Sure. Yeah, we would love tracking some of the companies. I already know some of the companies I've seen. We've talked before, right, Valerie? So I guess our students are definitely Waterloo is one of the most, as you said, one of the most different universities out there. I do love recommending University of Waterloo to all students, especially students who want to study on a more of the technical, mathematical part. This is definitely, I've had students very interested in, especially the aerospace engineering, which is very...
Yeah, and I remember you mentioning even mechanical, I think, as well, mechatronics,
exactly.
Yeah.
Mechatronics. Yeah. We have a specific student who's definitely who's definitely has Waterloo as their number one option, just because of the co-op program, and also the engineering program. He's one of our best math students, and University of Waterloo is on his radar, definitely one of the most important ones.
Awesome. So I'm gonna sorry, I just have to pull up the right. Sorry, I just cut out there for a second. I'm just going to share one of my screens.
Sure.
And so just so that we can look at some of those, and hopefully you can see that there. Perfect. So this is one of my favorite web pages. And so this is our program web page. And so from each one of these majors, so all 100 are listed here, we can see lots of really great information, including first year courses, but as well as co-op examples. So I might use, let's just pick, maybe not, we won't go to computer science and computer engineering just yet, because I think some of the big names will be on there, and it's always like, woo, yay. But if we do economics, let's do economics. So economics is found within our Faculty of Arts, or Faculty of, our Arts and Business or Arts major. And so I hope you can see, I might just zoom in a little bit. There we go, perfect.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
that's better. So really great. Whether it is available through co-op or regular. And then we can scroll down a little bit. First year courses, like I mentioned, but then the co-op. So here is some sample job titles. It's more. And then where some of our employers are. So you will, I think, notice some of the big names. So KPMG is a really big accounting firm. Sun Life Financial is a large financial institution. The Cooperator is similar. Ontario Ministry. And then the last two are companies, probably private companies that would hire our economic students as well. So that's one example. And then at the very bottom, where some of our recent graduates are. And a lot of the times, these were previous co-op jobs. So students will have lined up a job that they, or a job offer from their previous co-op work experience. But yeah, you can go through all the programs and see. Sorry, yep.
No, actually, I was just wondering, our students keep asking me about that, and it's, I think it's a very sensitive topic we definitely should cover. Does Waterloo have, do you guys have any statistics about international students and maybe visa grants that, maybe international students who end up doing co-op and then they will go on to get their PR, or other Canadian visas?
Unfortunately, I do not have that information. A lot of the times when students go on to receive their permanent residency, they have to sort of report that back to us. And once they've sort of left and, starting their really awesome careers, we don't always hear from them. Sadly, we hear from some students. And so some of, but I know just personally with students I've worked with, they do work towards becoming a PR while they're still an undergrad. After graduation, there is the post-study work permit that students can apply for and work in Canada for up to 3 years. And I know many students will work on their PR status at that time as well. So definitely an option, I would say. But the specific numbers, unfortunately, I don't have.
So the co-op actually is worth, I mean, it counts points towards their PR. So it is counted as Canadian work?
I would have to refer to the Immigration Canada just to make sure that, and I can share that link as well. I'm happy to share that. So, because I'm not a trained immigration consultant and specialist, so I will leave the, exactly, to the specialists who are making those decisions.
I'm just stretching your knowledge here, Valerie. I'm sorry. I just
no, that's okay. No, that's okay.
This is definitely when I advise our students, when I advise students in general, this is definitely something. Canada is a great option because of that. You know, so we have first of all, the co-op program is just so valuable. You know, I mean, the fact that the students actually get that much work experience while they're still studying, you know, and they can switch back and forth. They can, you know, mix it all in between. You know, it's not just study. It's actually study a little bit, work a little bit, study a little bit. The fact that I can only imagine how easy for them it is to actually find a job afterwards. I mean, who wouldn't want to hire you know, a recent graduate with such, you know, relevant work experience? You know?
Exactly. And we do have sort of general numbers on the work experience. So some students, and again, I believe like it's at least 2 to 6 months of graduation. 96% of our grads in co-op have received a job, so have found a job, and typically in their field of study as well. So it's a huge portion of the students who graduate because of all those reasons you said, like the connections, the experience, the just the valuable skills that they learn along the way before they even graduate. Some students, you know, won't have that experience until after graduation. So we want to, set them up for success as best as possible.
Okay, very nice. Valerie, we're getting to the end of our time. Thank you so much. I'll definitely this webinar is going to be recorded. And please, everybody who watched up until the end, thank you so much for your presence. And whatever you need, you can either contact me or contact Valerie. Please follow the University of Waterloo on their social media, and also follow our social medias. You're also at Colégio Positivo International here and Colégio Positivo as well. Thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much, Valerie, for coming to talk to our students.
My pleasure. This was lovely. Great. Good to see you again, too.
Good to see you, too. See you. Bye-bye.